Hi there everybody, this is David. I do hope that you're doing well, and today I want to talk about 5 things that I wish that I knew before I started up Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D Remake, kind of like a beginner's guide, because I've been playing these games since the 1980s. I know, so I'm somewhat of an expert on them, and even though this remake does really shake things up, I've had it for like a month now, so I have a lot of knowledge to impart to all y'all, and I definitely do think that's worth a sub as you come and you join my party and you level on up with me. Your sub, your like, and your brand new hype helps me out a ton. Thank you so much for that. And now let's dive right on into the best hints and tips that I can offer you. The first thing that you've got to know is that everything has changed and nothing is the same. If you played the game back on the NES, SNES, Game Boy Color, mobile, or Nintendo Switch, this is not the same thing. This is not just some sort of like graphical upgrade like the majority of the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake was. This thing was rebuilt entirely from the ground up, not only adding in a brand new party member in the Princess of Cannock who joins temporarily at the beginning of the game, but then permanently later on, but now every single town has its own associated side quest. Like for example, you don't just go to like Zahan to get the golden key, you go there to rescue fishermen and meet mermaids. Alefgard, the entire continent, is no longer empty. Every single town that was in the first game is also in the second game. Tons of brand new dungeons and scenarios have been added for both games, really fleshing them out too. Not only that, there are a bunch of brand new boss fights, from bosses whenever you get the Vase of Drought, yeah, that's been added in too, to a boss whenever you're finding the Cloak of Wind, to a major boss fight before getting the boat, and another boss fight down in Charlotte Castle, just to name a few. Tons of new weapons have been added, new equipment, new side quests, even a whole new ocean floor to explore. These two games really are brand new experiences that are definitely worth your time, even if you've played the base games before. Number 2, buffs and debuffs matter. Speaking of all those bosses that I just talked about, they're no joke. And while you can get through most random encounters just by like attacking, casting offensive spells, and healing, the bosses are something else entirely. If you don't use buffs and debuffs in those fights, you're going to be in for a world of hurt with the quickness. You can almost think of these games like an SMT game. They're that tough. Thankfully though, you've got tons of resources at your disposal to take them out. The first thing that you're going to want to know is that weaknesses are clearly indicated, not only with arrows, but by highlighting and flashing the abilities that enemies are weak to. So hitting weaknesses is great, but it's really, again, the buffs and debuffs that will make the difference between life and death. Sap is insanely powerful, lowering an enemy's defense by 50%, and all buffs stack, so if you use Sap twice, their defense will be lowered almost entirely. And the same thing goes for the buff and Kabuff spells. Using it once will increase your defense by 50%, but using it twice will increase your defense by 100%, and Kabuff targets the entire party, so using that is just downright essential. Another great spell is Oomph, which doubles your attack power, and normally doubling the Prince of Middenhall's attack power is a much better use of the Princess of Moonbrook's time, rather than just having her cast another attacking spell. Magic, though, can be an issue too, so the Princess of Moonbrook's Snap, Crackle, Poof ability will protect a party member from instant death and all status ailments, and her magic barrier will protect your entire party from enemy spells, lowering their damage by half. But it's even better if you can make the enemies not cast spells at all, which is what the Prince of Cannock's Fizzle spell does. Dazzle is similarly fantastic against strong attackers because that will make them miss 50% of the time. So don't just think that winning fights is all about damage and healing, because spells like these will really make all the difference in the world to your survival. Number 3, there's a whole new world of weapons and armor out there. Don't fall into the trap of just equipping the weapon that has the highest attack power, or the armor that has the highest defense power, because more than likely, it is the additional effects that a piece of equipment carries that will really give your team the edge that it needs. The further along that you get in the game, the more variety of equipment that you'll be gathering. One of the first pieces of equipment that you'll get is in Rippleport, and it's the Cloak of Evasion, which is fantastic, because it allows your characters to dodge 25% of all incoming attacks. Many shields and pieces of armor have resistances against magic or breath attacks as well, and believe me, it is no fun getting slaughtered by a dragon's fire breath. Also, many pieces of equipment, especially the magical wands, will have additional effects if you use them as items, like the Wizard's Wand casting Fireball, the Sentencing Staff casting Infernos, or the Aurora Blade casting Dazzle, so be sure to use those in a pinch. And one of my favorite weapons for the Princess of Moonbrook is the Water Maul Wand, because it actually recovers her MP as she physically attacks, so she can keep her MP high for healing and boss fights during the more random encounters. Then there's the whips and the boomerangs. Whips will attack an entire group of monsters, and the Hypno Whip actually has an additional effect of dazzling the monsters too, while the boomerangs will attack every single monster on the screen. However, you can't just go to walk into a store and buy a boomerang. You can only win them at the Tombola game, and you'll find tickets just by searching the stuff, buying stuff, and selling stuff. So I would highly suggest keeping those tickets for the various boomerangs that you'll find, and even the lucky card that you can get at the Oasis. Get the lucky card as soon as possible, because that gives you a 25% discount on every single item that you'll purchase from then on in the game. The fourth thing that you need to know is to search everywhere. Whereas modern RPGs nowadays kind of like to be lazy and just give you one hub town or towns with NPCs that don't really matter or nothing really to do in those towns, back in the day, in the 1980s, towns were an event. And each of these towns are filled to the brim with all sorts of stuff to find. So search everywhere and talk to everyone. NPCs here are not like NPCs in modern day games, where they're blabbing on about nothingness or their favorite cup of coffee that nobody cares about. Here, NPCs actually have important things to say. And while you're talking to them, rob them blind too. Check their hanging bags, the barrels, the pots, the bookshelves, the chest of drawers, the bureaus, everything, because they are chock full of great items to find. Out in the world map, you'll see sparklies to check for more items, and if you see some sort of anomaly on the world map, go over there and check it on out, because there's a secret area which have even better stuff than the sparkly areas. You'll notice these on the minimap by kind of random circles floating around, and that indicates that there is a hidden area to scope out. Once you get the Princess of Moonbrook, she'll have the Nose for Treasure ability, which you can then use to find out how many more treasures are left in a town, dungeon, or secret area, so be sure to use that liberally. And finally, the last thing, sometimes tactics are actually smarter than you are. So here's the deal. In combat, you can choose to have all of your party members follow orders that you go ahead and give them, or you can choose to have them use tactics. And while I'm normally kind of a control freak, and I do like to give my own orders, sometimes it's nice to just put a couple of them on tactics, like do your best, go all out, or focus on healing. And the reason for this is because the tactical AI is actually pretty smart. Let's say that your entire party is at full HP at the beginning of a round, so you think, okay, nobody really needs to be healed up, and you just make everybody go all out and attack. But then, during the middle of that turn, if the enemy deals some sort of devastating attack to you, and if you have a character with focus on healing set, then they'll actually change their action mid-battle and instead heal up your party. It's really a powerful, useful thing to do, especially in some of the harder boss fights after you're done setting up your buffs and your debuffs. Also, in a Star Ocean 2 sort of thing, you're able to turn on and off your spells and abilities that the tactical AI will use. I think that this is the smartest thing ever. So if you don't want a character wasting their MP during a random battle on stuff like Dazzle or Fizzle or Buff, then during the random encounters you can literally turn off those spells and tell them not to use them, and instead they'll focus on group hitting attacks or just healing. That way you'll be able to tailor your tactics exactly to how you want them to be. I really do hope that these 5 hints and tips did help you out, but now I want to hear from y'all. What are your best hints and tips for Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D Remake? Let me know down in the comments and let's all talk and chat about it. And if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like, a sub, and a hype for some more RPG content, because I have a lot more coming. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, have a good day.